What's up, Digidestins? This is Kyle D, better known as RideMyAvatar, and today we're going to be talking none other than of the Gen Con Top 16. So I'm excited. I'm in a new place right now, so you guys kind of saw that. But we also did a live stream yesterday. You can find that link right above here. Just to take a look at the Digimon beta, which is, I really like the simplicity of it. It's very decent. We'll see if long-term wise that'll continue, but hopefully guys, it does. So without further ado, let's dive in the video and talk about it. So this is the top 16. We had a fantastic turnout for basically Bt-22's really only in-person regional that it gets. And then we shift over to EX, 10 by the time we have the next regional. It's kind of sad for Bt-22 getting that short-lived. I mean, for the United States wise, we have plenty of other regional, well, not even a regional, we have Nats triggering. So it's very different. So Gen Con 2025, we had 3 Gallantmon X's, 2 Omnimon Alter S's, 2 Gallantmons, 2 Sakuya X's, 1 Diaboromon, 1 Royal Red Purple Imperial Dramon, 1 Blue Green Imperial Dramon, Door Brick, Aegis-Dramon, Puppet, Maste, and Royal Knights. These are big, weird anomalies in the meta because these normally don't exist, right? Dora Brick is very interesting. I know there's been a few people that have been super on that Dora Brick train, and it makes sense, right? There's nothing wrong with Dora Brick in any capacity, so it's just kind of cool to see when decks kind of pop off. Diaboromon is in or out of the meta since EX6, so yeah, since then it's done its little song and dance, but we're looking at even just Royal Knights not getting first or even higher representation is kind of interesting. But again, that is player preferences and people want to play different decks. First off, Gallantmon X taking first. You had Omnimon Alter S, the Omni deck, taking second. Gallant taking third, which is Megidra, Loop. Sakuya X is fourth. And then you had Megidra Loop again. The Omni deck. Then you had Gallantmon X, Diaboro, Red Purple Imperial Dramon, Blue Green Imperial Dramon. Kind of cool that 9th and 10th were back to back like that. Gallantmon X, Dora Brick, Aegis-Dramon, Puppet, Maste, and Royal Knights. So great job, everybody, for your placing. Fantastic. I really am proud of all of you guys. You did a great job. So let's just take a look at their list, shall we? Let's zoom out just a tad bit so we can kind of see the full list here. So first off, we have King Drazel. As you know, they are playing some interesting tech. They teched in the new Aces, Leopardmon Ace, and the other All-Force Vidramon Ace. So taking a look here, if we take a representation, Leopardmon Ace is Blast Evolve. When Digivolving, you may play 5,000 DP or lower Digimon card from your hand without paying its cost. Then all your level 3 or higher Digimon gain blocker until the end of turn. It's not a bad trade-off, especially since, you know, King Drazel can tuck things. There's a lot of aces around in this list. They are playing Medieval Gallant at a high count, but at the end of the day, this deck does extremely well because of the fact that it has a way of using Royal Knights of the Purge with its Omni X. Being able to get in 2 points of damage is ridiculous by this card, early aggression. And then having like Last Guardian keep it on the board an extra turn is always scary, right? So just taking this into account, I like the Gutsumon tech. If you guys don't know what this card does, it basically can't play Digimon by effects. So this can prevent the mirror match from popping off against you because they have to time this correctly, right? Now, we do have Maste. This deck is some crazy abnormality in a lot of people's eyes because there's not many lists that top with it, right? So taking a look, we have Maste, Ruin Mode, you know, or you can mode Ace. Just being able to do everything with their aces is really nasty. Massimon, the promo, it's kind of cool to see this. I think the updates are really clean. And just having another Mirai in the list that isn't a high expensive card. Now it has rare, you know, super rare and secret in its list lineup. this is where it's kind of getting interesting. So it went yellow base, so Tokemon, it's basically draw a card. You know, Pata is in here for the fact that it will gain that memory and stack and get that free evolve, because this is what this deck kind of needs, is some sort of free evolve. Then they are playing Pillowmon to slow down playing by effects, which slows down Megidra a little bit if, well, the Growl loop shenanigans, right? Because again, you prevent them from playing by effects. But then you have Tapirmon being able to, your opponents can't gain memory other than by Tamer effects. So if you can kind of keep cycling the deck kind of hardcore, or kind of slows down a lot of decks, right? You have like Psychmon, Tapir, and Pillowmon, just kind of just stopping them from doing things. Now puppets, this is very interesting. Not a lot of people, wow, Demonic Devastation? Wasn't expecting that, but it's kind of cool because it can combo in, allowing you to do extra damage. But again, near Bootmon, this is a card that a lot of people are hit or miss on right now. So it's got Overclock, you know, when Digivolving, you may play one level 4 or lower puppet traded Digimon card from your hand without paying its cost. Then one of your Digimon would get, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3000 DP for each of your Digimon all turns once per turn. When any of your other Digimon are deleted, you may activate this Digimon's when Digivolving effect. So kind of cool. The deck is going to be in the meta long-term wise, so expect this to do some crazy shenanigans later. But now we do have Aegistramon, which, again, wasn't really expecting Aegis. I would expect, you know, Rangumon, because that just makes a lot more sense, right? But they went with Aegis, and by golly, they did it quite well for themselves. You know, Metal Seedramon Ace is a great threat target. Aegistramon is a hard removal. So again, if you can shut down your opponent from doing things, this deck can do a lot for very little resources, right? Aegistramon is a powerhouse of Floodgate that is very hard to answer at times. So again, you have to stop them from getting into it. But with the fact they have Invisi and Metal Seedramon, it gets it like a challenge. Now, we do have Dorobrick. So a lot of players don't know what Dorobrick is all about, because this is probably the first time interacting with it. So Dorobrick himself comes in, takes for Dinosaurs for Digicross. He comes in for a 1 cost, no, 2, for a 3 cost by himself naturally. So basically he gets a bunch of extra security tax from basically playing a singleton style deck where it doesn't really play a lot of 4-of copies. Maybe like Ukumon's really their big 4-of, and it's showing. But it's effects to gain some needed value, right? Use Thai Kamiya to be your mem setter so that when Dorobrick, he just cleans house. You know, Master, Pyildra, Wingdramon, Volcanic Dramon, Lavagrita are all security +1s to get in there for damage. Dorobrick usually kills most threats on board when the time comes. But, you know, at the end of the day, really solid. I think there's nothing wrong with this list, and it plays a lot of boost in his champions lines to make sure you hit magic numbers to be able to kill things. Now, we do have Gallant himself. Gallantmon's doing Gallantmon shenanigans, right? Interesting. Yeah, so they are teching in one of the promos. It's a very powerful card. A lot of players either didn't really play it, but they do. They're starting to get onto the promo side because a little bit easier condition to meet than its counterpart BT13. So yeah, just the deck doing Gallantmon shenanigans. Now we do have blue-green Imperial Dramon teching into Hexaplow with 1 medieval Gallant. Again, being able to stun what your opponents can do with Davis and Ken, being able to play the, you know, Vima and Wormon to help dig you pieces, and it just snowballs, right? I mean, the Progenitor protection is amazing as well. Now, let's take a look. Red, purple, Imperial Dramon playing 1 Paladin mode ace, but with 1 Demonic Devastation. Just being able to get a restand, extra damage in. It's all good. I think there's nothing wrong with that, being able to swing in a couple times. With being able to shut off Tamers and options later on is really good. So having Pyildramon do Pyildramon things is always good in my eyes. But Analog Youth, you know, Calling from Darkness, very powerful list. Now we do have Diaboro. This one I have a little bit of insight that they might be taking out one of these to put in, you know, Millenniumon to add in some aggression, but list is pretty solid. Again, it has access with the new Diaboromon to be able to just be a nuisance. And what do I mean by that? This thing gives you aggression. This thing's going to be able to kill stuff. If you can keep, you know, this Diaboromon plus this one on board with, I forget this one, you know, that basically gets to play all turns when a Diaboromon is destroyed, get to play a token. So you get to, if you pop one of your tokens or your opponent pops one of your tokens, you can trigger a snowball effect that's ridiculous. So just keeping the blockers up and just being able to kill stuff with this is really nasty. At the end of the day, I think this deck is going to keep getting crazier and crazier as the formats go on. Then you have another Gallantmon list, just very stock list, nothing too out of the ordinary. They are, yeah, nothing too out of the ordinary here. Then you do have the first case Omnimon Alter S with the new Omnis. Just a really good deck with the Nokias. Nokia just puts in so much work with their new introduction, just being able to be the mem setter of the deck, but also being able to play an Agumon or Gabumon from hand without paying its cost. All turns, when your Digimon with Greymon Omnimon in its name gets plus 1000 DP. Yeah, so you get to climb up and do some crazy shenanigans. You play Ty and Matt to combo in with the Metal Guru. The egg you want to pick is going to be Sunemon because the new Bt-22, Agu, and Gabu are just that good of a card. Now we do have Rush. So basically they play one of the Arrestiamon Superior mode because they can combo off, get in 2 damage early on in the game, and then basically once it dies you get the Rush Gilo to go do the shenanigans. So yeah, I mean, it's not a bad deck. The deck is probably going to disappear sooner than later because they're going to hit Grab Crush and maybe something else. Now again, everybody's love to hate deck, and that is Sukuyamon X. Just having Ruin Mode, being able to, you know, the combination between Pause Plugin and, you know, Volder Arm is really annoying. A lot of players hate that combination, and it's just being able to shut off the stack from climbing up and being able to have Volder Arm be Volder Arm is crazy. Now, here's another Growl Loop. They were playing 3 copies of Superior Mode instead of 1, but, you know, there's no real wrong way to build this deck. Then we do have another Impale-Dramon, well, Omnimon deck. They are playing the Mirai at a high count because, again, Mirai gets the combo in with your Mem Setter. This one being able to start a main by returning this Tamer to the bottom deck. You may play 1 4 or higher Mirai or play cost 4 or higher Tamer with SC in its trace from your hand without paying its cost. So, yeah, being able to draw 2 cards is really decent as well. I don't think you're actually ever activating that. Trash 1, Holy Beat. Nope, there's set CS, so your Megas can go. But all in all, the deck will do what it needs to because this deck is very powerful and great. Having Alter S being a major threat is always scary. Now, we do have Lance's Giratina Gaming's list. This is something he's held close to his chest for a long time. This dude has super repped this deck to oblivion, and he's been happy with his list. So nothing's wrong with that. There's a lot of good going on. You play Cool Boy in there for extra draw, which is not terrible. But all in all, I love the War Growl Ace as a spicy tech. You know, there is no Gallantmon Crimson mode in the list, but that's fine. But all in all, great job, Lance. You've been really showing your progress on this, and he did a fantastic job. And he plays at my locals, so give a round of applause. Say in the comments, great job. Hopefully, guys, you know, that is the final deck. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying these videos. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch you next one. Peace.